So for our next presentation, who's familiar with magnetic therapies? Okay, handful. So over the years, I've kind of have a long background in holistic medicine and have seen a lot of different modalities dealing with magnets. Usually it's like one magnet and everybody has their own school of thought on using south, north, whatever polarity, and there's different ones from, everything from network marketing companies and you name it, having different magnetic therapies for relieving pain and these kind of things. But you never really hear about anything too like off the wall with these magnetic therapies as far as what it can really do for wellness if somebody has issues that they need to deal with. And I've never really been too excited about a lot of those magnetic therapies because it's kind of, the results are kind of weak, it's kind of subtle, it's kind of, really anecdotal, and I've never really been too impressed with it until about, I don't know, it's maybe about a year ago or so that a couple of my friends had met with a former professor in biology who was involved with a magnetic therapy that was different than anything I've seen before, using both polarities together. And a couple of my friends have been benefiting from this modality in ways that I've never even thought possible with permanent magnets. And so our next presenter is a former professor in medicine, I guess you could say in pre-med type of biology, medical biology, at at the university. And she has been involved with this modality for quite a while, but also on an innovative side, that she is finding things that other people who have been involved with this have not explored in these different areas, and I think she's going to share some of that with us. And so please help me welcome Dr. Ingrid.
Thank you. Okay. Can you hear me all right up there? Okay, very good. First I'm going to start with a video. It's just a 2-minute video, but it's really important because it gives you a visual representation of the biomagnetic energy. It's always good to have a visual when you have new concepts that you're introduced to, and so that's what I'm going to be showing you next. Okay. Let's see. I am a 2 times daughter of the American Revolution. My 5th great-grandfather fought for independence for our country, and thus I am a proponent of biomedical freedom. That and I almost died as a cancer patient. I had 4 cancer diagnoses in 4 years. That was topped off with 2 collapsed discs. That resulted in cycling pain every 30 to 90 seconds. It's like having a refrigerator dropped on your arm every 30 to 90 seconds, sort of a deal. You touch a hot stove, you're used to pulling your hand back. But what if you can't pull it back? That's what that kind of pain is like. And actually in my talk today, I'm going to get to touch on that just briefly as to why I hypothesize that may have happened. One of my colleagues, I don't know him personally, but he's a hero of mine. His name is Dr. Rashid A. Battar. He's been rated one of the top 50 medical doctors in the country. He just is quoted recently as saying, at the moment, the fundamental systems of biology are being flushed down the toilet and ignored, literally. So what we're going to be talking about is an introduction and how scientific information can be misleading. I'm hoping you leave this talk and you're able to decipher good medical data versus bad medical data just by looking at the first page of a publication, or when you hear a graph or you see a graph on TV or on the news with whatever the new political spin is regarding biomedical data, you'll be able to discern what's truth and what's not. All right, so starting in on our example pathogens. In 2000, according to the Mayo Clinic, and now we're in 2020, right, so this number is going to be quite a bit higher, we had 21.7 million infections, or cases of infections of typhoid fever globally. And so one of my colleagues is Dr. Brian Frank. He's a medical doctor. He was the president of the Society for Medical Acupuncture in America. And he did a pilot study in 2017 in Kenya where they used biomagnetic pair therapy and typhoid fever, a pilot study. And so the same biomagnetic pair placements that I talk about here at the bottom and that are going to be annotated by Dr. Goes is what he actually went out in the field and used for proof of concept. In sum, I just want to mention that HCQ is a safe and efficient treatment for COVID-19, even though it has a mortality rate of less than 0.5%. We're calling it a pandemic. In general, I'd like to say that just like we saw with Tamiflu and Donald Rumsfeld, for any of those guys that might remember that from 11 years ago, what we're looking at here is the hydroxychloroquine and the azithromycin combination is much more effective than remdesivir, excuse my pronunciation, which costs more than 1,000 times per pill. Dr. Hulda Clark is one of the people that I looked at in trying to first understand how biomagnetic pair therapy was working, trying to determine a new mechanism to explain it all. And she found that these compounds are present in those with disease or states of cancer. And I thought, okay, ferro, ferri, nickel, yeah, I could see how the biomagnets, that might be interesting. And from her work, I have, speculating, hand-waving, I have come up with my own hypotheses that I would like to continue to investigate over the next year. Looking at this diagram right here, you can see here's the ferri and the cyanide containing compound. So this complex is it acts like a glue in diseased states. So when you have a condition of disease of some sort, you'll see this kind of glue molecule complex. And so I thought, looking at this diagram, the neodymium boron iron biomagnets rotate the iron, ferro and ferri constituents of the two cyanides out of the organs by releasing them for the body to eliminate. And secondly, as a result of the removal of the two cyanides, the downstream effect we would observe is what we loosely describe as corrected pH. Really, once you get the yucky stuff out, that perhaps would allow improved oxygenation, microcirculation, and as a result of that is why we see a restoration of the pH to a normal level that's associated with health.